Imagine being banned from the only thing you've ever loved, and years later, getting a second chance not just at the game, but at life itself. That's the story of Pryce Cahill, and it's also the beating heart of Stick, the Apple TV Plus dramedy that had us all unexpectedly tearing up by the finale. But with Season 2 on the horizon, will Pryce return to the Pro Tour? Can Santi conquer the PGA? And is this quirky band of misfits about to become an actual family? Let's dive into our top theories and what we think is next for Stick. Season 1 of Stick was all about second chances, and no one embodied that more than Pryce Cahill. Once a golfing legend, Pryce lost everything after an emotional meltdown at a tournament, one triggered by the heartbreaking loss of his young son, Jet. But over the course of the season, we saw a man heal. Coaching Santi gave Pryce a purpose again. He found redemption, reconnected with his ex-wife Amber Lynn, and even faced down his past, literally, when former rival Clark Ross showed up at the final tournament. So here's the big question. Is Pryce ready to return to playing golf professionally? The show's final scene definitely teased that possibility. Santi encourages him to try, and Pryce's swing looks solid, maybe even great. He's older, sure, but the fire's back. The challenge? That pesky PGA ban. But if Clark Ross, who seemed to soften at the end, helps Pryce clear his name, we could see him teeing off in Season 2. And let's be honest, seeing Pryce go from mentor to pro again, that would be incredibly satisfying. Now let's talk about Santi, the teen prodigy with a natural swing and a huge heart. In Season 1, he goes from underdog to a legit contender, even reaching the final round of a real PGA event. That's no small feat, but the writers smartly didn't have him win just yet. It's realistic, and that's what makes Santi's journey compelling. He's clearly destined for greatness, but he's still growing. In Season 2, we expect to see more tournaments, more struggles, and maybe even a new rival to push Santi's development. Think Ted Lasso meets King Richard, but with golf. His raw talent is there, and with Pryce as his mentor, the sky's the limit. But that doesn't mean it'll be easy. Santi is now a pro, and that comes with pressure, sponsors, media, and real competition. His bond with Pryce will be tested, especially if Pryce starts playing again. Imagine the drama and emotion if they ever face off in a tournament. Will mentorship turn into rivalry? Unlikely, but the emotional complexity is ripe for exploration, and the creators of Stick know how to hit those heartfelt notes. All right, let's address the wild card. Gary, Santi's biological father. He had a chance to step up, to be the dad his son needed, but instead, he showed his true colors. Manipulative, selfish, and only interested in taking credit for Santi's success. But in a show centered around redemption, is Gary beyond saving? Season 2 might explore a redemption arc for him, if he finally realizes that love isn't about control, it's about support. Then again, he might double down and try to legally leech off Santi's winnings. It could go either way, but knowing this show, it's possible they'll surprise us and give Gary one last shot to do the right thing. And let's face it, every great sports story needs someone to root against. Gary might fill that role just fine. Or maybe, just maybe, he becomes part of the team. A long shot? Definitely. But this is Stick, where no one's beyond redemption, and even the most flawed characters have room to grow. His arc could mirror other Apple TV Plus characters who found grace after failure. So don't count him out just yet. One of the most beautiful parts of Stick is how it redefines family. Santi, Zero, Pryce, Elena, and Mitz, they're not related, but by the end of Season 1, they're closer than most families. And with sparks flying between Mitz and Elena, we might see this unofficial family become an actual one. Zero and Santi are already a couple. Mitz and Elena finally opened up to each other, thanks to some gentle nudging from Zero. If they keep growing together, And if Amber Lynn continues showing up more often, Season 2 might have these characters forming a home together. Still, the show's biggest message is that family doesn't have to be blood. It's about being there for each other, no matter what. And that's what makes Stick so heartwarming. His arc could mirror other Apple TV Plus characters who found grace after failure. So don't count him out just yet. One of the most beautiful parts of Stick is how it redefines family. Santi, Zero, Pryce, Elena, and Mitz, they're not related, but by the end of Season 1, they're closer than most families. And with sparks flying between Mitz and Elena, we might see this unofficial family become an actual one. Zero and Santi are already a couple. Mitz and Elena finally opened up to each other, thanks to some gentle nudging from Zero. If they keep growing together, and if Amber Lynn continues showing up more often, Season 2 might have these characters forming a home together. Still, the show's biggest message is that family doesn't have to be blood. It's about being there for each other, no matter what. And that's what makes Stick so heartwarming. You see it in every quiet glance, every goofy road trip, every round of golf played not for glory, but for healing. Whether or not they ever make things official, through marriage or moving in together, this group feels like a real family. And that emotional authenticity is what sets Stick apart from so many other sports dramas. So what can we expect overall in Stick Season 2? Pryce possibly chasing his own pro comeback. Santi rising through the PGA ranks. Clark Ross becoming a surprising ally. Or not. Gary causing more trouble or finally coming through. Romance blooming between Mitz and Elena. And most importantly, this unlikely crew continuing to support each other as they grow, stumble, and learn together. The mix of emotional storytelling, light humor, and sports drama has worked like magic so far. And Season 2 could take all of it to the next level. So what do you think? Will Pryce make his return to the PGA? Will Santi win his first big title? And is Gary heading for redemption or revenge? Drop your predictions in the comments. Hit that like button if Stick gave you all the feels. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives, theories, and updates as we wait for Season 2. Until next time, keep your head down, follow through, and remember, second chances are always possible.